Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to start today. It's going to be a Sudoku video, so don't worry those of you who love Sudoku more than crosswords, but on Cracking the Cryptic, Mark and I are both from crossword stock, and John Grimshaw does the Times concise puzzle every day. He compiles it, and he often hides a Nina in there, so that's a Nina, those of you who aren't sort of full of crossword etiquette, named after Al Hirschfeld, the famous cartoonist who used to hide the name of his daughter, normally in capital letters, in his pictures. Now, John hides things in most of the Times quick crossword each day. You can see, have a stare at this grid, see if you can see what he's hidden today. I think it's really rather clever. I'll tell you, it's something to do with the middle rows, where you can see ghost Tories and candle ticks. And then he's used the black square here to be the S, so we get ghost stories and candlesticks, so I thought it was really lovely. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's have a look at a Sudoku. Now this is from this weekend's World Sudoku Grand Prix. I think it was set by India this time, and you can see here we've got one of these same sum Sudokus. So how does this puzzle work? I'll put some instructions on the screen afterwards, and do try the puzzle. There's going to be a link under the video that will let you try the puzzle using our new software. And basically the grey lines in the grid all add up to the same number, and that's what we're going to have to do in order to work out how to solve this. So now Mark did one of these the other day. I'm just going to make a couple of comments about that. Firstly, I did try the puzzle after I'd seen Mark was going to do it, and I have to say I think this variant of Sudoku has a lot of promise. It really has got a lot of elegance to it, sort of combines a bit of killer Sudoku logic, reminds me a little bit of the between 1 and 9 sandwich Sudokus from that perspective. And the other thing is the way Mark started very much ignoring the lines and just sort of ploughed into the Sudoku and see how much progress he can make. Now, my process with solving these is always to look at the lines first and see what they can tell me. So that's what I'm going to do here. Now, okay, so we seem to have a lot of given digits as well, so this is probably going to be just a 45-point puzzle. Now, I'm not quite sure what that means in terms of time, but I think that means you're meant to do it quite quickly, like 5 minutes or something. I saw that Tan Tan Dai finished the entire exam in less than an hour, which is absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, I'm waffling. So we've got, you can see in the columns here, we've got 3 and 5, that adds up to 8, and 6 and 2. And in both column and row, column 5 and row 5, we have lines totaling 3 cells. So let's just pick some numbers. If these were both 10, 10 plus 10, that's not going to work, because we need to get to a single digit total. So let's try a bigger number. Let's try 13, 26. That's not going to work. So the minimum for the grey lines is going to be 14. 14, 28, 36. So that will give us a 9 here. In fact, I'm going to put the 9 in the middle, because if I put numbers in the middle, that tends to mean I'm notating the total possibilities for the cell in question. If I put numbers in the corners of cells, that's Snyder notation, where I'm looking at the 3x3 box and I'm saying the number is limited within its 3x3 box. So 14 is possible. 15 is going to be a 7, obviously. That's possible. That's not clashing. You can see the next two odd numbers are going to clash. So we're not going to be able to have 16 and 17. 18 will give us a 1. Okay, looks like that might work. So if this was... okay. Maybe you have to look at the Sudoku, because I can't see how to do anything with these numbers. I mean, let's just have a quick look at the Sudoku. I can see I can put a 5 in, so let's do that. Let's see if that gets us anywhere. 5. 5 there. And a 5 here. and a 5 here. Okay, we've done all the 5s. That in and of itself is quite surprising, I guess. Let's put 1s in there. 2s look a bit restricted. Yeah, look, we can place a 2 up in the top box and 2 there. And a 2 in one of these two positions, and which cell hasn't? The central cell, central box, we haven't got a 2 yet. So there's a 2 in one of these lines down the column. 2's here. Anyway, let's just carry on quickly with the Sudoku. Let's just see if we can get any more info out of this. 6. This 6. So there's a 6 in that position or that position. I'm especially interested in anything that hits these grey lines, obviously. Must be a 3 in one of those two squares. 3 in one of these two squares. Actually, this 5 is going to be in. This 5 is interesting. This 5 is interesting because if the total for this line is 18, we obviously can't have 5, 5, 8. That's going to repeat the 5. We can't have 5, 4, 9 because of the 9 here, and we can't have 5, 6, 7 because of the 6 here. So actually, this is not 1. Oh, I messed up my notation. I just noticed that. Apologies. I meant to put that there. Okay. So now, what can we say? If anything. Now, if this is 7, that means that these 3 cells must add up to 15 without using, so these 2 cells have to sum to 10. Okay, we can't use 3, 7 because there's going to be a 7 in this square if this is a 15 total. We can't use 1, 9, we can't use 2, 8, and we can't use 4, 6. Okay, so that is not 7 either. Right, good. So we have, I think, established that these sums have to be 14 and 9, 9, this is a 9 by simple Sudoku. Oh, well, we can't put the 9 here because that's going to break the total for this line coming down, so that's going to be a 9. 9, 9, 9 in one of those two squares. Oh, in fact, I'm going to look at this line because it's got a 5 on it already. I need these 3 squares to add up to 9. If the total line adds up to 14. And I've got to be careful here because it's a diagonal line. I can't use basic Kukuru logic, so I can't, for example, you can see there can't be a 2 on this line. Now normally 9 in 3 cells without using a 2 would only leave the possibility 1, 3 and 5, which is actually also broken here because this 5 and this 5 rule out a 5 in any of these 3 positions. So we know there's a repeated digit along this line. Now it can't be a repeated 1 because of these 2 1s. We know it can't be a 2, so it could be a repeated 3, but it can't be because that would mean 3, 3, 3. There'd have to be 3 3s along the line. So I'm hoping there's a repeated 4, or I've broken the puzzle. Oh, so it should be 4, 4, 1. 4, 4, 1 does work. We know this must be a 4 because we can't put both 4s into these 2 squares, but we'll get a repeated 4. So that is a 4. This is a 4 and a 1. We know the 1 must be in one of these 2 positions, so that must be the 1. This is a 4. 4, 4. Now you can see this 4 here means this is a 4, which means this is a 6. 6, 6. 6, 6. This is a 6. This is a 3. 6 in one of the 2 positions at the top there. Must have 1 and 8 into these 2 squares. Feels like we're making quite good progress. I guess let's look here. We've got 4 and 5, so these two squares, this square and this square, have got to add up to 5. What are the options here? This could be, well, this can't be 1 because that will lead to a 4 here, which clashes. It could be 2, that would be a 3 here. 3 it can't be because that would lead to a 2 here, and a 4 it can't be. So in fact this is a 2, this is a 3. This is not a 2 anymore. That means there's a 2 there, look. This is not a 2. These two squares have to sum up to 12, so they've got to be 4 and 8 because 3 and 9's ruled out, 5 and 7's ruled out. So 4 and 8 must be this way round because of the 4 there. 8, 8. Now that resolves the 8 and the 3. That means this is an 8 by simple Sudoku. Pencil mark some 8s there. Can we use this 3? Sort of. There must be a 3 in one of... there must be a 3 there, in fact. It's the only place a 3 can go in this block, which means this is a 3. This is a 3. I've probably made a mistake here. This is going too well. And there must be a 3 in one of those two squares. And ditto in those two squares. So now, what do we need to complete this column? We need a 7, I can see that, and is it 4? Yeah, we haven't put a 4 in, that's going to be a 4. 4, 7, that must be a 1. This must be a 1 now. We've got 1, 3, 1, phew. Okay, because that was looking a bit light, but we can just get there if we make that cell a 9. Placing a 9 there means that's a 6. 1 and 7 into these two squares. That must be that way round. That makes this a 1. And you can see I don't think these puzzles from the Grand Prix are necessarily meant to be monstrously hard. They're meant to be elegant, and this certainly was very elegant. The start was lovely. Well, I certainly thought so anyway. Now, what do we need here? So we need 7 and 9, is it? Oh, can't resolve that yet. But this is a 7 here, not a 6. A 7. Use the square. 6. I think that's working. I'm sorry, I'm just being slow because I don't want to make a mistake here. 3 and 7 that way round. And I think, have we done all the lines now? Done all the lines, they should all add up to 14. Yeah. Good. So it does look like we're on the right line so far as the solution's concerned. Let's put a 7 in here, and hopefully we're on the finishing straight now. 8, 9 here, so that's going to be 9 and 8, like that. This should be an 8. See, we need 4 and 7, which should be this way around. 4, 7, 7, 4. There's no congratulatory message yet, but there will be soon. Yeah, I really think this variant has legs. Enjoyed the puzzle, incredibly elegant. Look at the symmetric design, brilliant as always from these fabulous Sudoku setters. Enjoyed the content, please subscribe, we really appreciate it, and we'll be back soon with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. You didn't think I'd forget that 4, did you?